Welcome to the Junior Golf Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping parents and juniors navigate through the journey of junior golf. From fitness to mental coaching, we cover it all on this podcast. Here's your host, Ro Thompson.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Junior Golf Podcast. My name is Ro Thompson. Man, I got a special guest in the building today. Man, we have none other than Victor Bergonzoli of Sports Ed TV. Hey, Victor, how's it going today?
Good morning, Ro. Thank you for having me. Very excited.
Hey, man, thanks for being on, man. I tell you, we're making some good connection these days. I got my good friend Mark McKinney and Mark and Britt up in the upstate. Man, you know, they had the pleasure of introducing me to you, and man, I just thank you for coming on the podcast this morning.
Yes, it's my honor. I look forward to it.
Great. Well, listen, before we get into the Sports Ed TV and all the great things that you're doing for sports, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get deep into the podcast.
So, as you can hear from my accent, I was not born and raised in the South. I was born in Switzerland, in the French part of Switzerland, and came originally for 6 months, 22 years ago, December of 2000. I was the CEO of a company called Dartfish. Dartfish does video analytics and different tools, and all the Olympic teams are using it. And I came here to this beautiful country, and I moved to Atlanta first, and with my wife, and we had 2 children born in the U.S. And the 6 months have been now 22 years. So That's who I am.
Okay, great. And how old are your children, Victor, now?
My boy is 18 and my daughter is 20.
Okay, good. And did they play sports growing up?
They did. Yes. My son was mainly a lacrosse player. Okay. And my daughter did gymnastics, silk, equestrian, volleyball. I mean, she tried everything, which was great. Beautiful.
As I was telling you before, we love Miami. My wife loves South Beach. It's just a beautiful location with a lot of tropical, scenery. So we love Miami, man.
Yes. What I love about Miami, you see, this morning I woke up around 4 or 5 o'clock.
Right.
We went on a long walk. Before starting my day, I take a walk of 4 or 5 miles sometimes. Wow. And I listen to podcasts.
Yes. Okay.
Like Neil. I love Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm sure you know of him. He's an astrophysicist, and he's always, extremely good with his podcast. So that's one I listen to. But I love the TED Talks as well. Okay,
I have to definitely check out that podcast. Yeah. Okay, good. Well, listen, tell us about Sports Ed TV and why you chose to start that company.
Sure. So there are 2.5 billion people in the world who play sport. Wow. And all of them don't want to become world champions. It's got to be people my age, start pickleball, or you have parents of very young athletes. And before Sports Ed TV, what you had is many different places where people had the resources to learn their sport. Right. You may have a golf-specific, video library somewhere, and tennis somewhere else, and then volleyball on the third place. Right. And we looked at that and we said, wow, it's no one has aggregated everything you need to be better at your sport. Mm-hmm. So what we did is we decided to create a platform called sportsedtv.com, where we have content, videos and blogs, where we have a community, so you can join. You become a member. It's free. Okay. And you become a member of the community. You can find people who love your sports, do the same sports, have the same aspiration. And the third part is a marketplace where you can find products or services or coaches you need for that sport. So I like to say between Nextdoor and LinkedIn, these 2 apps, but for sports. So it's a community of interest around sports. And we have seen a tremendous growth. I mean, we are reaching very soon 1 million social media followers, people from all over the world.
Wow.
Every country in the world has watched it.
That's
So it's
great.
and we want to keep it, accessible, because too many people don't have access to good content.
Yes.
I remember as a dad, my son started playing lacrosse at 6.
Okay.
And I remember trying to find, I didn't know anything about lacrosse. I was born in Switzerland. We don't play lacrosse in Switzerland. We play soccer, tennis, and skiing.
Yes, tennis.
And and I wanted to help him. So what I did is I went to YouTube trying to find the good videos. And I found a video with millions of views. I'm like, that's good. I'm going to be able to help him as a good dad in the backyard. Send that to his coach. And his coach says, no, Victor, this is horrible. I'm like, coach, there are 2 million views on this video. He's like, doesn't matter. It's horrible. So that's what we want to answer is you go to Sportsnet TV and you find good content filmed by great coaches, people, like we have Tim Hardaway Sr. teaching the crossover. He's a crossover himself. So that's what you want.
Good. Yeah, I went to the website and I wanted to see if I could put a plug in for golf.
Yes.
we need that golf section on the tab.
Yes. So we have golf.
Yes.
And we look forward to working with you on that as well. But the beauty of the golf library is we found a great teacher. He's an amazing guy, and part of our contributors, we have people like Mike Malaska is one of our contributors, one of the top golfers, top pros. So every sport is important. In the end, my goal is to cover everything from archery to
every
Zumba.
sport.
Yes,
that's huge, and it's and I like the way you're doing it because it's all in one place.
Yes, my daughter was playing volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
Why should I? I love any sports website that help. So we partner with people who have libraries that they are selling. This is great. But if I can go to one place as a parent, find blogs on nutrition, hydration, concussion, I can find videos for volleyball, I can find videos for my golf game or tennis game.
Yes.
And I can help my son with his basketball skills. It's, not wasting time roaming around and trying to find what I need.
Right. Yeah, that's it sounds like my podcast. I've done, fitness, nutrition, mental coaches, parents. That's kind of like what I've done over the past 3 years with my podcast. So you're doing some great things out there. So is there anybody that helped you along this journey that you would like to give a shout out to as far as Sportsnet TV?
The entire team. Starting, with Robert, who's our chairman and chief marketing officer, Robert Mazzucchelli.
Okay.
John Eagleton and him co-founded the company. We have Daisy, Jim, and all the sports directors, Mark Strickland, Jilton, Harvey Newton, Roy Vegley, and, Roberto Borgatti. All these people, have been part of the team. So it's a team effort, and we have a great team in Serbia as well. Sasha Jovicic, who started a lot of digital SEO enterprises when he was very young. So his nickname is the God of SEO. So these are all the people.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Now listen, so as you said already, you had some experience with sports with your daughter and your son. What was your experience personally as a parent growing up as a with your children being in sports? What was your journey like?
The first experience is I lost my hair.
Gotcha.
No, it's interesting. Coming from a different culture, you realize that sports is a lot of things in the US. Growing up, I was a competitive weightlifter.
Oh.
Believe it or not, I was in the top 10 in Switzerland at the age of 16. But when I went to high school, I had to make a choice. Can I continue at a very high level back then, or do I go to my high school? And I chose high school.
To high school.
What I like about the US is we put a lot of emphasis about sports, and yet we have one of the highest obesity rate in the world, which is, amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was always very supportive of doing sports, and I let them, one of the key advices I always told people, let them choose what they want to do.
Right.
Because too often people are like, imagine if I pushed my son, do Olympic weightlifting. I was an Olympic weightlifter.
Yes.
My boy at 6 knew what he wanted to do. He said, Dad, I want to play lacrosse.
Mm.
Like, why? Why don't you do soccer? Right? It's something I know I can help you with.
Right.
Like, no, I want to do lacrosse. I'm like, okay, let's do lacrosse. But I always encourage them to do multi-sport. So
Right.
the best time ever is when you can go and watch your kids play their sports and having fun, because you realize these years go very fast. Then they are 18, 20, you don't see them anymore as much. And it's very precious. And it goes, from 6, you have 6 to high school. That's really the time, and it goes extremely fast, as you know.
Yes. Yes.
That's something that you have in common, and that's what I love.
Yeah, I have so my 10th grader, he's 16. He plays, competitive golf. And so my wife and I, we're like, okay, in 2.5 years, he's going to be off to college playing golf, and that's going to be it. So we're just going to try to enjoy the next 2.5 years,
Yep. And it changes, it builds characters for life.
Yes.
There are studies showing that if you're involved in sports growing up, you have to be more successful in life than if you are not. This is proven, it's very interesting.
That's
so
good.
that was, my main experience. I enjoyed every single minute of it. With my daughter and my son. I was very often, because of my dartfish training and position, I was the video man for the team. So I would film every single game. So I was far, with a video camera, which my son appreciated, because I was not one of these crazy parents screaming and yelling. That's very important.
Hey, we're gonna get to that in a second.
Okay. And but I would film everything, and then I would tag the game with all the goals and all the key actions, and upload them to Dartfish TV and share it with the team. So everybody loved us.
Yes. So you bring up my next question. So what advice would you have for these crazy parents that are like throwing temper tantrums? We've seen it on at sporting events where parents just absolutely lose their mind, and sometimes it can go off the deep end. And I don't want to bring up all the negativity, but what advice would you have for parents to really enjoy the journey while their kids are playing junior sports?
The best advice I can give them is, it's go for the love of the sports, and the journey is the success. It's not the win or loss. And if a win comes with an embarrassment for the kid, because they don't understand how they hurt the kids, with bullying going around, if you're a crazy parent, and on top of that, it goes on the web these days, right? People film, and you go on TikTok, you go on YouTube, and that's even worse, because it's not just one event that happened once, it's evergreen. And you become the person that is on TikTok that everybody's making fun of. So that's even worse. It's damaging. If you damage yourself, that's one thing. But for your kids, enjoy the journey. That's the most important thing. So what we did with our team, and that was very nice, is we had 1 or 2 parents with a big T-shirt saying like the parents' guardian, and they would police. Always telling, before every game, saying, guys, we are here for the fun. We don't, the refs are young kids sometimes. So let them do their job. And they would just stop. If anybody started yelling, they would stop. So
Wow.
the only yelling here, Rob. Oh,
Yes. Here.
hello. Sorry.
Yes. Here. That's okay.
Sorry, we froze. You froze for a second.
Yeah, that's okay.
The only thing I would do is when I was filming, when my boy scored a goal, I would just yell, "That's my boy." That's all. And he loved it. He knew
Yes.
because every time he scored, he would just, look at me and I would just scream. That's the only thing I would do.
Yeah.
But the rest is don't intervene. You are not the coach and you are not the ref.
Now that's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Yeah. So that's some great advice, man. Because you see a lot of, like I said, you see a lot of parents throwing temper tantrums, and I try to stay when I play, when my son has tournaments, I try to stay about 250 yards down the fairway, because one of the things that my wife said, when my son makes a bad shot, he always looks at me to see what my reaction is going to be.
Yep.
And if I'm 250, 300 yards down the fairway, he can't look at me, so.
Great.
So,
People have to emphasize on over efforts, over results,
mhm.
and I mean, people don't understand when you come back in the car with the kids
Mhm.
and then you start talking, oh, you should have done this or you should have done that. And
Right.
no, again, you're not the coach. You're the parent. I know you're supposed to be here to support them.
Right.
So all I would say is I would never critique his lacrosse skills, by the way, because who was I to? I mean, I didn't know anything about lacrosse. But all I would say is, wow, great efforts today. And if sometimes he had a bad day because he was too lazy, I said, were you tired? What
Mhm.
happened? That's all I would say. I would be critical of not giving 150% for the team,
Right.
but I would not judge the rest. I mean, no need. I wanted this experience to be fun and enjoyable. And if you are too critical, then they just leave, they stop, and you have
Yeah.
only yourself to blame.
And one thing that kind of one thing that kind of settled me down a little bit, Victor, is one of the things I realized was that I wasn't as good as my son on the court or course. I wasn't, a lot of parents, they're not as good as their kids on the basketball court. They're not as good as their kids on the football field. So why are we getting upset like we're better than them?
Yes. Well, look at crazy NBA fans.
Yeah.
I
Right.
keep telling people, listen, guys, there are only 4,300 people who have ever played in the NBA in 75 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Do you think they need your advice?
No.
So it's like, oh, you're bad. I played badly, and it's like, guys, and so it's even worse when you do it to a child, because you're their hero. They listen to you. They want to please you, and just reward the effort. That's what I'm saying, and don't get too much into, technical, because we know that the worst coaches can usually be parents. Now, there are some exceptions,
Mm-hmm.
Williams and the Williams sisters with
Yeah.
Richard. That's a different story.
Right.
But otherwise, just enjoy the journey.
There you go.
Yeah.
So now, Victor, your company mainly focuses on you think parents, the kids, or both, or what's
Everybody.
everybody?
So we want to be a resource to coaches,
Gotcha.
athletes,
Okay,
and parents.
that's good.
So basically, a lot of coaches, come and visit our website and come regularly because they find the resources. I mean, we have great blogs, for them. I mean, we have blogs on concussions, for instance, and what to watch, and nutrition and hydration and techniques. I mean, in tennis, we have hundreds of videos on how to hit your forehand and backhand and how to serve and strategy. So we want to be a resource for everybody, but I know kids as well enjoy it and parents enjoy it as well. So it's really our goal is to serve everyone who wants to be better at sport. And a lot of coaches are people with no experience. especially in the US. We
Right.
have around 7 million youth coaches.
Mm.
So we just signed a deal with the YMCA.
Okay.
They are using our video library in their lesson plans
Oh,
for
wow.
sports. For basketball, we're doing soccer now, and
Yeah.
later on volleyball. And they realize that our videos are really appropriate for these age groups and for the level of the coaches here.
That's good. It's really good. So what's next? What's next for Sports Ed TV?
So the next phase for us is to go deeper with more content in the sports we have today,
Okay.
and a large number of sports. So we just signed 3 former world champions in boxing.
Okay.
We are going to, a boxing library. So we are increasing the number of sports. We want to go into padel this year and maybe swimming as well. So we always try to find partners who have an interest in the audience we serve.
Okay.
That's a growth on the number of sports we are going to cover, and we want to increase, what we do on the community side as well.
Okay.
So really having all the tools that people need when they visit the community on Sportsnet TV and ask questions and, have answers to their questions. We have potentially a few AI projects as well.
Okay.
We'll see. And that's going to be interesting. But again, with the purpose of helping people who want to be better at their sport.
That's good.
And increasing the marketplace, people who have a service and a book and products to sell, and they want to approach and reach out to our community.
Okay.
That's what we are developing as well.
Good. Yeah, I heard the AI is the new wave that's coming.
It's the new shiny object. We have to be careful with shiny objects because
right.
You had the esports that was the shiny object. You had the virtual reality. You had crypto and NFTs, and they come and they go very fast.
Right.
So what I've learned in 25 years of in technology and sports technology is take the shiny objects, try to understand how they can help you, but don't just run with it because you see the bandwagon just leaving and I need to jump on it because then so we have one mission. It's to help people improve at sport, and whatever exists, is being developed to help us with our mission. We'll use. Otherwise, we are not going to change, course just because there's a new thing coming into town.
Right, and Victor, if you think about it, it's a double-edged sword. It's almost like when you had Blockbuster and Netflix. Blockbuster. Yeah. It was rental. And then Netflix came out with the streaming and everything's streaming now, so
yes,
double-edged sword, but again, you have to be careful, but don't be afraid to hit it, touch in that market, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you need to improve, you need content. So we know that the content is very important, and that's what we do first.
Right.
We do great videos. When you look at the quality of our videos, they could go on ESPN tomorrow, to the point that we have the co-founding producer of ESPN working with us. He works with us. He's our editor-in-chief.
That's nice.
Peter Fox. And
nice.
Peter co-founded ESPN as the producer, co-founded ESPN. And when he saw what we are doing, he said, "You guys are the ESPN of sports education." So that was nice, coming from him, like, wow.
Yeah.
And so content is very important. The community aspect is very important. And all the tools you can incorporate to help the community are key. I see AI, if I'm just to touch on AI, as a great tool to help you take better decisions. To find good content.
Right.
Imagine an AI, you go on Sportsnet TV and it's asking you a question about nutrition. So you are asking a question about nutrition.
Right.
The module will look at whatever we have. We have 1,500 blogs now, and a lot of with nutrition and hydration, and looking at research and answering a specific question based on the knowledge of our experts. That would be very useful.
Right.
That these are type of products and services we can offer using the latest shiny objects. So I'm always very open to technology, but you have to be careful not to make technology, the number one purpose. Technology is here to help you serve, your mission.
There you go. So Victor, this has been really great, very informative. So how can our listeners reach you, find you on social media, website, all the different platforms?
Sure. So depending on your sport, we have for all the sports where we have a library, we have a social media presence.
Okay.
So we have Sportshead TV Golf, so it's Sportshead TV _golf, and it's on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, and same for the other sports, basketball, soccer, volleyball.
Okay.
So every sport has a social media presence, because if you're interested in volleyball, you want to see volleyball content. So what we did is we didn't mix all the sports into one community.
That's good.
And you can go on sportsettv.com, of course, and start. And you sign up, you become a member. It's free to get started.
Okay.
When you become a member, you have access to all the videos for free, and that's important to us. Yes, too many kids don't have access to good coaching, and we wanted to give back to the community. That's very important.
That's really good. That's really good, Victor. You have some options for the kids, and you have a lot of free content. Now, do you have any like bonus memberships, or you have any?
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So if you spend $1 a month or $12 a year in the US, if you're outside of the US, in some countries it even goes lower.
Okay.
You have access to additional tools where you can create your playlist, you can create groups, private groups where you can chat and communicate with some athletes or parents. That comes with a bonus as well.
That's good. That's good.
We have some people who just decide to subscribe to help support the cause. So we've seen that. We have a $99 lifetime membership, and I've seen people just signing and sending us a message saying, "What you do is great.
Yeah, it's
just wanted to sign to have a lifetime membership because I want to support you." So
that's good.
Because we are donating a lot of memberships, to friends and family and foundations. So that's important. Again, nobody should suffer because they don't have money and play sport, and access to good coaching is tough, as we know. So we want to help everyone.
That's good. That's good, Victor. And so, Victor, as we close out, anything you want to leave our listeners as it relates to golf, sports, any final parting shots you want to make?
Yeah, as I said before, enjoy the journey.
Yeah. Don't
specialize too much into one sport.
Okay.
Too many people take young kids and they're like, okay, he's going to be a football player and that's all he's going to do, or a baseball player.
Right.
Be like Bo, right?
Yeah, Bo Jackson. Yeah.
So Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
And basically, as a kid, you look at Norway, for instance. In Norway, they don't even have super leagues like the special teams and select teams before the age of 12 or 13. It's illegal in Norway. They want, and you look at the number of medals they do at the Olympics.
Yeah,
for their number of people is just amazing.
Okay.
So let kids choose, let them have fun, and do several sports. Don't specialize too much.
Good.
And that's my main advice to parents.
That's good. Well, thank you, Victor, for being on the Junior Golf podcast, man. We appreciate you being on. Hopefully we can get you back on in the future as this artificial intelligence, and as y'all expand your library, hopefully we can get you back on soon. Okay.
Thank you, Ro. It's a real pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Junior Golf Podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We hope you enjoyed this new episode, and if you did, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please share this episode with others who may be interested in this topic. Also, feel free to let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Get in touch in the comments or on any of our social media networks. See you next week for a new episode